Hello, hello. Hopefully sound is working. I'm just checking my properties. Everything is set right. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Probably so, I'm guessing. It's been a while actually since I had OBS running. So we haven't done StarJump Station in a while. So my settings are a little bit old. I need to kind of go through and rebuild everything, but hopefully you can all hear me. Can someone confirm you can hear my voice? Am I clear? No popping? Hopefully so. 5 by 5. Thank you, Michael. Fleetviewer is releasing soon, TM. Don't have an exact date. Obviously, when we feel it's ready, we'll release it. Yes, Fleetviewer is out. For those that didn't know, hopefully you already know it was released last night. Been getting a pretty big reaction today, which has been awesome. It's been, like I said in the original let me fix my green screen thing here because the OCD will bother me. But yeah, as I said in the Yacht Club stream last night, it's been about a year and a half in development, a little over a year and a half actually. It started in April 2021. So it's been a very long process. It started off with me talking to Starlet a little bit and saying, "Hey, if I was to give you XYZ images, could that be put into some sort of database that allow people to spawn them?" And the first idea of Fleet Viewer and how it would work was actually really simplified. It was a lot more simple than what we released last night. So. And what we released last night is very much, our version one. We want to go much further with that. Let's see here. So real quick, I just popped on because I have about an hour to chit chat and stuff. It is during my workday though, so I only have about an hour here during my lunch break. But I wanted to be able to take any and all questions, sort of an ask me anything sort of session here. If you having any issues, all that kind of stuff. Um, feel free to ask, throw it in chat, maybe put question in brackets just so I can catch it. Um, Again, appreciate all the call outs about Fleet Viewer. I'm glad everyone's enjoying it. We do have a community spotlight post. If you haven't voted on that, please go give it an upvote. That'd be great. I think we're already in the #1 position, which is pretty awesome. I think we're currently sitting at, let's see, let it reload, 39 upvotes. So that's great. We're at the top of the list. Yeah. All right. Yes. Questions. Please put them in brackets or just make them obvious and I'll get to them. I can show you all things too if you have any specific questions about functionality or why can't I do this or that. So Mike says, question in the future, could we please have PTZ, please? What is PTZ? Hey, it's James the Stormtrooper. How are you, James? Salute to you, sir. Really appreciate you and the whole StarFab team. Let's see here. Obviously, VMXEO is in chat. VMXEO helped with a huge amount of assets for Fleet Viewer, ship renders, all that kind of good stuff. And yes, I am looking down here because I'm looking at the chat. Sorry. Um, Michael says PTZ in the future, please. Yeah, I'll look at that. Walter says, can we get more screen size options? Yes, we are going to do that, Walter. We wanted to do it for release, uh, but it was not possible for a technical reason that we have since solved. So yes, we will get ultra wides and all that kind of stuff. Ender says PTZ is pan tilt zoom. Okay, cool. Well, technically you can pan and zoom now. Tilt would require a parallax change to the models, and what you're actually viewing are not models; they're renders of models. We have all these models; that's where they came from. But one of the core tenets of Fleet Viewer is performance, and there's no way we could have 3D models in real time at that level of fidelity and have it perform through a web browser. Um, what you see from Starship 42 and what they do with the hollow models, that's probably the extent you can do with a 3D model, and even people have performance issues with that. So unfortunately, tilt won't really be a thing, but you can pan and zoom and stuff like that, and obviously on your canvas. So question: can you add a snap to grid option in the future? Luck Dragon, you're in luck. I think the snap to grid option will be. I think that's something Starlet wants in sooner rather than later. I know she's already been experimenting with it a little bit, so I think that'll be one of the first updates we do. I know we want to try to do kind of a small bit of updates maybe in a week or so, and you can expect snap to grid to be one of those things. I appreciate the kind words. Obviously, I hope everyone is enjoying it. Big shout out to the entire StarJump team. StarJump Ender, who obviously, if you're on our Discord, will know manages our community pretty well. Helps me out a lot there because I just am stupid with Discord, so it solves a lot of my problems there. Um, StarJump Ender is also one of the hosts of StarJump Station and Fleet Builders, one of our new shows, which is on our YouTube channel. Check that out. I will say this: Fleet Builders is a lot of fun. Me and Ender, we had a lot of fun playing around with that, and it was kind of something we had discussed in the past, but we were very much like, we need the proper tool to do that show. And well, we made our tool. So Fleet Builders is awesome. You can expect, well, you know what? When we first started, I was like, yeah, this will be okay. But when we started doing it, it was a lot of fun. I think Ender will agree. We just had a blast like talking fleets. So and they're really easy to put together. Ender's editing them, and it doesn't really require any assets from me other than Fleetviewer. So you can expect a lot of Fleet Builders episodes. I think me and Ender both have a lot of fun with it. So that's great. And so Ender does that in Starjump Station and our Chronicles Machinima series, which is kind of on hiatus, but we'll get back to it. And then obviously Starlet handles all of our backend stuff. She's also a host on StarJump Station. Collaborators like VMXEO, the StarFab team, big helps to us. I can't say enough about them. They've helped me so much through the cinematics, Fleet Viewer, all that. Fleet Viewer is as much their baby as it is mine and Starlet's. So yeah, big thanks to all them. Let's see. So yeah, Luck Dragon, Snap to Grid. It's definitely coming and probably soon. Michael says, question: can individual vertical movement be added to more closely approximate one ship landing on another? So what you're probably talking is movement on the y-axis or the z-axis, however it's calculated in Flutter. And I don't know the answer to that yet. However, there have been some early discussions between myself and Haskaha, who provided some of the backdrops. We talked a little bit about how it would be great to be able to provide backdrops that are in layers. So, for example, you could have a spacescape in the background on one layer, and then a ship above that, and then maybe some dust particles and stuff above that, and you could move those around to create images. But that does kind of lead into this other discussion of, is it possible to alter those layers y distance, which is kind of what you're talking about. And I don't know if it's possible yet, but it's something we'll look into for sure. I would personally, I would love Fleet Viewer to go the route of, being like a creative tool that allows people to do really cool images, not just view your fleets, but actually create art. So, uh, those type of functionalities I do want to get in there. It may just take a little time as we start. I can tell you this: we are. Hey, Joran, hope you're well. Thank you for hosting us on this yacht club last night. We had a blast. I can tell you that we used Flutter, which is a platform. I believe it's made by Google to build this, and I will say we are pushing. We are like at the edge of its functionality in terms of like we are pushing the boundaries of it. There's still a lot more we can do, but we are pushing it in ways that maybe even weren't intended. So stand by as we kind of figure out what we can do. Freeze says, question: is a 3D model mode coming? Freeze, no. there's not a 3D model mode coming because we wouldn't be able to show the models at the fidelity level in real time through a web-based thing. But there have been some discussions about ways to visualize each ship from a 3D rotation perspective. And we're going to look into that. That would definitely be like a later on down the road version 2 update to Fleetviewer because it would require a 360 model rotation. Or so yeah, we'll have to look into that, but that's probably a further out feature I would like to do. Not full model manipulation, but at least model rotation. Sort of like you see on like if you go to Amazon and you find a product that they have a 3D rotation of and it's locked in perspective, but you can rotate it, it'd be something like that. Uh Yeah, Jordan, the tutorial video, I do recommend everyone go watch that. Bruce asks, is there an instructional video on how to use Fleetviewer? Yeah, so when you're on the main Fleetviewer page here, you can click on this Fleetviewer and it's going to take you here. The right hand button takes you into Fleetviewer. The right hand video will take you to a tutorial, a YouTube video tutorial. It's about 15 minutes long. I really suggest people go give that a watch. It'll answer a lot of questions for you just on how the Fleetviewer works and functionality and stuff like that. So, let's see, what else do we got? Thank you, Joran. James, a stormtrooper. I tried to do an 8K render in my hangar in HD mode. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We definitely want to add bigger resolutions to the output, though. I know Starlet wants to get in an ultra wide and export and all that, but we got to kind of figure out what the UX requirements of that would be. Joshua, no problem. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Glad everyone is enjoying it. Thank you, Lazarus. Hope you're enjoying it. Michael has a question here. Control Shift Loop Select versus working only with one or all models. Yes. So what you're asking, Michael, is if we have, let's say we do have a fleet up. As a matter of fact, let me delete selected. Let me go ahead and load that. I will load. You're seeing a little behind the scenes real quick here. Stand by. I'll load up a larger fleet. Yeah. So what you're asking, Michael, is the ability to, right now you can select one ship or you can select all the ships. You're asking if there's ability for us to hold down a button and control click a bunch of ships, maybe like 5 of these ships. That is not currently in the functionality, but we do want to add that into the functionality. That is one of the things at the top of my list of things to add. So yes, absolutely want to get that in there. Let's see here. Brad asks, question, are you planning on making landing configurations for ships that transform, like the Defender, Raylan, Scorpius, etc.? Probably not, Brad. There would probably be a lot of work, honestly, with some of the complex rigging and stuff that goes on, especially with some of those alien ships. And the data that we have on some of the ships, while sometimes it contains rigging information, a lot of times it doesn't, especially on concept ships. So we don't really have a good idea of how some of those ships are going to fold. So I don't think that is something that will happen, unfortunately. I'd love for it to, but I don't think that will ever happen. Let's see. That's one of the challenges. Again, it was trying to give people the ability to do as much as possible within reason. So we tried to give you a couple ways to make it look like your ship was landed. So obviously you can spawn a landing pad like so. Let me switch you spawn a landing pad, and then you could and then you can always spawn a ship, obviously, like 400 here. And then we added that little drop shadow. I mean, I know it's not perfect, but at least gives you the sense that, let me delete ship labels and move this to the back. But at least it gives you, let me delete my ship labels. I thought I did that. Okay. But at least gives you the idea that your ship is kind of landed or in a land state. We want to do more there. Obviously, another thing that you can do is to, change your background settings. So if you go to canvas settings, there's two Haskaha images that work pretty well. There's this Alisar image, and where's the micro? Oh, and there's this Microtech image. But you can also click on your ship, go to top-down view, and kind of position that, and you can get something that looks kind of cool. I think Haskaha is going to do a lot more top-downs for us from various landing zones, so you'll be able to do a lot more visualization like that. Um, Bingo. Are you asking for the ability to, like, if you had the 400 and then you also had something like the mule or something, or even like a cyclone, are you adding for the looking for the ability to then click on the cyclone and scale it up and bring it, outside of its realistic scale, just to kind of highlight it? If that's what you're asking for, then yes, that is going to happen. We're in actively talking about. I think that feature is at the top of the list. It's at the top of the list. Hey, Execute is here. Hope you're well. Hope you are well, Execute. Let's see. Yes, I will be at Equinox for anyone going to that. That is the big um, Columbus, Ohio Bar Citizen event. It's going to be pretty big. I'm going to be doing a panel presentation on Fleetviewer and cinematics, I think. So if you're looking to say hello, I will be there. Definitely seek me out. I'll probably be wearing a STARJUMP hat. So, but yes, bingo. We will add the individual ship zoom. B2B Farming asks, will there be a mobile phone version? We're looking into it. So Flutter, which is what this was built on, does have the ability to do mobile versions. We need to see how it works with our setup and everything, and see if we need to kind of fix things. But that is the goal, is to make a mobile version. I'm not sure how well it will work on phones, but maybe tablets, could be a real thing. Um, yeah. So it's something we're definitely thinking about. We'll put up the fatty shack crack in here. What else we got? Let's see. Starfab and others. Oh, that's someone else's. Cool. Yeah, I was messing with the Liberator fleet, and the Defender was looking a little weird on it, but I'm good at Photoshop. So, yeah, so there was a couple of isometric ships that were rendered at slightly wrong angles. We'll probably one day go back and fix those. It's only slight though, so it's not a big deal. Obviously, for ships that have landed states like the Defender, if you're trying to put those on a deck of a ship, that's going to look a little weird. But you kind of got to do what you got to do. Um, let's see. The impersonator says, well, we have the ability to modify the images, like brightening to darkening them, for example. Yes, possibly we could add that. That's not something we thought of, but that's possible. I can tell you that very early on there was some discussions about um doing some special RGB mats that would allow people to change the colors of the ships. We did abandon that though, because there's some it's complicated. There's a couple pipeline issues with that, but it's something I may revisit in the future. I don't think it would be extensive. It would probably be being able to alter the primary and secondary colors of the ships, probably not the tertiary colors, which I consider like raw metal, matte black, like rubberized components and stuff. But the primary and secondary colors are something I would like to have in the future, at least some sort of color wheel option to alter them in some way. I could see us doing a test version of that first, though, where it's like one ship and we see, what we can do with that one ship. So, Bruce says, will we be able to place ships on other ships' landing pads? So we may be able to do something that's like a snap to landing pad. Obviously, for the time being, the only way to do that is to kind of do it manually. Now, I'll give you a little pro tip with that. So let me go ahead and delete the fatty shack here. Okay, let's say we have our Kraken, and then I want to put a ship on its deck. Let's just go ahead and pick something like, let's grab a ship I haven't seen a lot of people mess with. Let's just grab like a Hornet. So here's my Hornet, right? You can take the Hornet and place it over the pad. Now, obviously, you can select all and delete ship labels if you want a cleaner image. But once you have it over the pad, you can go back to your canvas and say lock canvas. And when you do that, now you can't click and mess up that layer stack. That's about as close as we have at the moment, but I do think at some point we will possibly on some carrier type ships do do some sort of snap to pad thing. But that would be like definitely a future update. Let's see. All right. What else we got? Yeah, it works pretty well manually. I mean, definitely from like if I unlock this, let me select all, go to the top down view. I mean, obviously we don't have the ship's landed states where the wings fold in and stuff, but you can get a pretty good approximation of like how things are fitting. One thing I will say is that take it easy, Jordan. Appreciate it. One thing I will say is that while our sizes are extremely accurate in the top and profile views and a little bit in the front views, our isometric angles sizes do need to be adjusted a little bit. Not all of them are correct. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure the F8 Lightning is way too big. It needs to be scaled down quite a bit. So we're going to get to those over the next few days. So. Luck Dragon says, I understand the pains of programming all of this, but will there be a way to select a ship, vehicle, object, and simply hit delete to delete it? Um, so that is a hotkey. We are looking at the hotkey support. Flutter does support that, so we could add it. I think we'll probably limit ourselves into how much of hotkeys are in there, but yes, we do want to get that. I think delete would be one that I think is pretty easy to do and would probably make the most sense. So yeah, um, I think you could see us doing that. Okay, what else we have? Stand by here, just checking something. Okay, yeah, feel free to ask any questions. While I'm talking to you all, I'm actually ordering my lunch. We're going to go with hibachi steak and chicken today because I'm pretty hungry. I was up pretty late last night. um, yeah, I mean, this is obviously something I've repeated on multiple streams, but the big thing with Fleetviewer is this is a version 1 release, very much a version 1 release. We want to do a lot more with it. We have we probably have, I would say, a list of 100 features we want to add to this thing. Everyone, if you are enjoying it, go give the project an upvote on the community spotlight. We'd appreciate it. But yes, we have a whole bunch of features we want to add, and then in the far future, I won't talk a lot about it because I don't want to get hype rolling for another project or anything when this just released. But the way I look at it, Fleetviewer is the foundation for a much bigger project that I want to do and have very much in the pre-planning stages, that will utilize Fleetviewer as its base, kind of structure, but bring on a whole other level of like functionality that's way beyond what you're seeing here. Another thing we want to do is, let me pop this over. Okay, I'm on HD. Another thing we want to do is we want to add, I think probably the number one thing we want to add, and it will probably be the first new feature added, will be the ability to share a link with someone. And that, like, you can share it on your social and stuff, and that link will allow people to you click on it and it will bring up your fleet for them, and then they can scale around, zoom, pan, and explore it instead of you just rendering out a 4K image and posting that, which is great. But we do want to give people the ability to kind of explore the fleet using the tools and the canvas tools. So for version, look, Dragon says for version 1.0 release, it's really awesome. Can't wait to see what y'all do for the future. Yeah, appreciate it. We felt like we had reached a good state for what we consider version one. Um, you know, I think there's a long way to go with it. There are some rough spots or some things I do want to fix, but we'll get there. Let's see, Brad says, if CIG offered to purchase your Fleetviewer, would you sell? Doubt that would happen. Yeah, I doubt it would happen. I mean, so we obviously took some liberties with ships. You know, there's ships like if I spawned, let me give you a good example. We'll spawn the Bengal. Okay, and I'll tell it to go in front view. So our Bengal, for example, is not the in-game Star Citizen Bengal. You know, we did some work to it, some different textures, because this is what we use in our cinematic. And if you zoom real far in, you'll even see it's got my name on the side. But regardless, some of our stuff is a little iterated on because we do not have the full game asset for this. You know, we are pulling and doing what we can with the parts and pieces we have. I'm sure CIG would want to, if they were doing this, they would do this in a lot more official way and it would look really great and all that. However, I will say that so far CIG has been very supportive and awesome. I know Sandy Roberts on Twitter has posted likes to several of the Fleetviewer updates, which is really cool to see. You know, again, in the past with all STARJUMP projects, we've had nothing but support from them, and they've been really great. So, you know, I think the thing with CIG is just following the appropriate rules, which makes sense. It's their IP, so following the appropriate rules and respecting the IP is, you know, and fundamentally not charging or paywalling anything. Like I said multiple times on stream last night, Fleetviewer, it's completely free. It's not locked behind anything. There's no premium version, you know, or anything like that. It's completely open to everyone. So let's see. Ender's asking if we can see the retribution. Yes, we can. And that brings up something else. Everyone, don't forget your filter list up here at the very top. You can type manufacturers, right? So you can type Drake or Anvil, right? And it'll pull up all those ships. And the cool thing is at the bottom of that list, you'll see an add all button, which will add all the ships that are pulled up in your filter, right? So maybe it's Easter eggs. It pulls up all the Easter eggs in the Fleetviewer. You can do ship roles, so you could do like heavy fighter. It pulls up the heavy fighters. Again, we may be missing some. Don't worry, we'll get that. We'll get to them. We're still working the filters out. That was kind of a last minute addition. You could also just type the name of the ship. So I'll type Retribution, and we'll spawn that in. And there is the mighty Retribution next to a 600i. There you go. Pretty big ship. Pretty big ship. I don't have much longer, probably about another 10 minutes, so feel free to ask any questions you may have. We will probably do a STARJUMP station soon, maybe this weekend. It probably won't be a very planned one. It'll probably be a little bit more impromptu, but maybe this weekend or early next week where we do a bigger deep dive into Fleetviewer, try to have VMXEO on as well for that. But sort of deep dive it, go way more in depth on not only the development of it, but we'll probably go a lot more in depth on what the future of it looks like and where that's going to go, what kind of features we plan on adding, etc. Again, we have a massive list of features. So, do we have an idea of what war gear the Retribution has? We don't. I mean, obviously, there's turrets and weapons all over it from the asset I had. Now I iterated on that and beefed them up, not in terms of size, but in terms of just I had to replace very rough blocked out white box type model stuff with higher res stuff to get the fidelity up, but you can see some of the shipbuster cannons here on top. These are quad mount shipbuster cannons. There's 4 of these per mount, so an eight total up here, and I think it's got another. I think it's got another 8 or so on the bottom. Let me switch this to profile view. Think I forget, maybe not. Yeah, but anyways, it's a big ship. It's definitely a big ship. Can you show us on a single pad all the custom ships? Yeah, yeah, I could do that. I can do that. Execute. Let me clear some stuff here. Okay. And we'll just go to add ship. We'll go to Easter. Okay, and 40 ships in here. So go to add all. Did I add all? Okay, there we go. And I will need to select all. Let's put it on low definition for a minute. And then let's do an auto layout to lay them out. It does auto layout, but it actually doesn't grab the retribution and jump gate yet. But I'll show you what we all have. Let me pop a few of these to HD so that they're better looking. Yeah, let me pull some of this out. Sorry. There's a few things that our auto layout feature does not grab, but okay. So, all right. So, special things here. Obviously, we have landing pads. We have a bunch of sizes of those. We have the retribution. We have a jump gate. We have the Bengal. We have the Pegasus. Let me click on some of these and I'll bump up the resolution. We have the Starlet Javelin. We have it's kind of famous from from one of our streams. We have the Super Liberator. We have the Fatty Kraken, the Fatty Shack Kraken. We have the 890 Yacht Club, the 890 Imperium Navium, UE Medical Corps Endeavor Hope. This is one of our supporter ships. Big thanks to Lady Grace. Stormwall, the Reclaimer Execute Edition. That's for you, Execute. A couple more supporter ships, GSS Stellar Gambit, it's one of Griff's ships. We have DG360 Nautilus. DG's also been a big supporter of STARJUMP, so we got him a ship in there. Crash Corps Carrick. What else do we have? We have a couple of hammerheads, actually. Crash Corps, Ender, Dristaloth hammerheads, Perseus Thundercloud. That actually should not be an Easter egg. That should just be in the regular RSI filter, so that's a mistake we'll fix. This is an alternate version of the 600i Executive. Both me and VMXEO did one, so this is the alternate to that. We have the Lisa 600i. It's another supporter ship. We have the 404i, which is barely visible. It's from the Inside Star Citizen thing. Some more supporter ships. The Griff 400i. We have the Zeus. I know a lot of people have been talking about the Zeus lately, which is kind of funny because we were working on it. We have the Cutlass Purple. James Stormtroopers Raven, Test Squadron Eclipse, Ventivar Terrapin. Obviously, Ventivar and Stormtrooper part of StarFab to help us develop this. As same with VMXEO. That's one beautiful Hawk there, though. You got to admit that's a skin for the Hawk that we need. We have the Hull A Starbug, and then a couple other Easter eggs. The Tefra homing mine, the Aegis repair drone. Hey, we got to zoom down here. Titan suit. And then male and female characters. Tiny. So yeah, a lot of stuff. More to come. More to come. We already have ideas for more supporter type stuff. So let me recenter my view. That's about it. I'm gonna have to get back to work, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this quick chat. I'll do more of these as the weekend progresses. But thanks for everyone coming and hanging out. I really hope you're enjoying Fleetviewer. All of us at StarJump hope you're enjoying it. Play around with it, test it. We love seeing the fleet images people are pumping out. So post those in the appropriate place in our Discord. We also love seeing people create content out of it. So if you're a content creator and you're creating stuff using Fleetviewer, for creating new content, send us links to it. We love to watch it. It gets us excited and gives us ideas on how to maybe fix things up for the future. So awesome. That's pretty much it. Thank you, everyone. Will the Drake Leviathan ever make it? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. You never know. Maybe a version of it. I wouldn't want it to be too Death Starish, but maybe a version.